Thank you for meeting today. If you guys don't know me, I'm Natalie. I'm the school administrator. Hola a cada uno por conectarse en esta mañana. Si no me conocen, soy Natalie, la administradora de la escuela. Gracias a Abuela Rodríguez por conectarse con nosotros y poder tener este meeting con nosotros en la mañana. Espero que esté bien. Good morning to everyone. Thank you for connecting. Hi, Grandma Rodriguez, for being connecting with us. It's a pleasure meeting with you this morning, and I wanted to ask if you felt comfortable with the translating in Spanish or in English, if you have any preference, si tienes una preferencia, que por favor me dejes saber, let me know, whichever you prefer that you feel more comfortable.
I prefer English.
You're good with English?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so I'll be staying, close by if you guys need me. So I'm just gonna take you over to the teachers, Mr. Tariq and Mrs. Sophia. She's here with us today. So feel free to ask any questions. And if there's something that you need my help or support, I'm gonna be close by in the meeting and I can help with that.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez.
All right, so I'm going to start us off. I'm the paraprofessional in Mr. Tariq's classroom. I'm Miss Sophia. So I work with Adrian on more of like a one-on-one support basis. I kind of support all of the students in the room if they need it. So overall, Adrian is a very sweet student, and you can tell he really wants to do well in the classroom. He follows directions really well, especially when they're given like one step at a time. So he really thrives when he knows what to expect and when our classroom routine stays consistent. The one thing that we have noticed is that unexpected changes can be a little bit difficult for him. So if the schedule changes suddenly, he can kind of become frustrated or distracted, might not want to complete the activity that we're working on. So we'll provide him with some extra support to kind of regulate his emotions in those moments.
Okay.
Um, Academically, he's very bright. The only thing is he struggles a little bit on his spelling tests just because of the language barrier he's dealing with at the moment. Um, You'll see that in his comprehension assignments, he was provided a Spanish translation for the readings that we do. And then I provided him with support for the questions that he would have to complete after reading. And he did very well on those assignments. The spelling tests we don't have a Spanish like translation for, so you'll see he struggled a little bit on that assignment.
Okay.
Um, in class, Adrian's very respectful towards his classmates, and he's really been trying to make connections with them, make friends. Sometimes, because of that language barrier, he does hesitate to join our group conversations or activities just because he's not really sure what to say. But we've really noticed that his classmates really do try to include him and everything. And so, especially at recess, he's made some pretty good friends. So, yeah, overall, just he's been a really great addition to our classroom.
Thank you. I
And
really
Yep.
appreciate that.
yeah,
Yep. Hi, I'm Mr. Tariq. I am the classroom teacher. I just wanted to say thank you for being here today. And as Adrian's teacher, I've had the chance to get to know him over throughout the school year, and I've got to see some of his strengths and things that also just need some improvement. And for this meeting, I've been taking some notes to basically go over his behavior progress and his academic standing, his social development, ADHD, and classroom behavior. And I just wanted to fill you in on all of the notes in his current standing right now.
All right.
So his strengths, he has a lot of strength in following steps, step-by-step directions. He's good at communicating his wants and needs effectively. He has strong, he has good, strong math skills, especially with hands-on manipulatives. And he completes assignments with the teacher support sometimes, one, two prompts. And he works well with predictable routines and structure. His
All right.
academic standing, reading and writing can be challenging due to language barriers, but like the paraprofessional Sophia said, when he performed in with an assignment that was in his familiar language, he performed well. He's working on summarizing stories using complete sentences and using visual supports, modeling, and guided practices seems to be a helpful practice for him, a helpful strategy for him.
All right.
Social development, he struggles with the language barrier that kind of affects the way that he communicates with his peers. He struggles building strong relationship with his peers due to this language barrier. Um, he does have a stronger participation rate when he's in a structured activity with his peers. So if it includes something like building with Legos or anything that's mostly hands-on, he participates really well. It's just a language barrier that's pretty, the only thing that seems to affect him. Now, as
Okay.
far as ADHD and his classroom behavior, he performs best when the routines are predictable for him, when it's something that he's familiar with. And sometimes when the schedule changes and when things aren't the typical predictable schedule that he's used to, it can sometimes cause frustration and difficulty regulating his emotions. I've noticed that sometimes. But visual schedules and advanced notices seems to help him a lot. So like if we say if he's still finishing up his assignment, we're like, oh, 5 more minutes, and then we're gonna clean up to go have lunch. If he's not done, then we can just remind him that hey, you can finish when you come back. So advanced notices like that seem to be very effective for him. It kind of gives him a sense of like control of like, okay, it's okay. I can come back and finish. I'm not in trouble. It gives him a good reassurance. Um, ADHD seems to be something that can make it difficult for him to pay attention to. So maybe sometimes we try things like giving him a fidget when at circle time with the class and whatnot. So yeah, those are all of the notes that I have taken. So overall, Adrian is a wonderful student to have in class. He works well, and you can tell that he does want to do well. We understand that the language barriers and the changes in the routine can sometimes make situations difficult for him, but he still continues to show growth socially and academically and can thrive with assessments that are in a familiar language to him. We really appreciate the support of you as his grandparents, and we look forward to continuing our relationship and working together to build and help Adrian's success. Thank you.
Thank you. And I appreciate you all meeting with me. So I do
Mhm.
have some questions. Some of them you may have touched on, but just to reiterate, I do have some
Mhm.
questions that I have prepared. So the first question is, what are some suggestions that you might have of how I can help at home?
I would say reading together at home for a short period of time, asking him questions about the story, asking him questions about the characters in the story, and have him describe a certain event in the story in his own words.
Okay.
Encouraging him to read in English and Spanish can also help him build his language development. So,
Okay. And how do you feel that well, you answered how you feel that he interacts with his classmates, but how would you say that I can help him at home to make better connections with the classmates?
yeah. I noticed that he kind of struggles due to the language barriers, but his one-on-one para, Sophia, will probably give you a better answer on this because she's with
Okay.
him all day. So I'm gonna give this to Sophia.
Yeah. So, I can go a little bit more in depth about how he
Okay.
interacts with his classmates as well. Um, so Adrian is a very kind student, and you can really tell he wants to connect with his classmates. So we have said earlier that the language barrier makes it a little bit harder for him to feel confident, just like jumping into conversations or joining those group activities. However, we do have another bilingual student in our class who's really been helping him out. It's really helped him improve socially, but academically as well. Um, so that's really great. We really appreciate that student, and they've become really close friends.
Okay.
And I also noticed that he tends to interact more when activities have clear explanations and structure. So, when we have those clear explanations, that clear structure, and classmates are inviting him into conversations, he responds really well to that.
Okay.
So, I guess what you could do at home is just kind of keep that same routine. In the
Okay.
classroom, we do try to keep everything structured. We try to have clear expectations for all of our students. So if you're kind of having that same behavior at home, that same kind of routine, that can help him. But it could also help him to kind of teach him how to regulate when things don't always go exactly right, when the schedule changes unexpectedly. Really teaching him how to be like, take a minute, be like, okay, this is fine. I can wait 5 minutes to do this. Like, one example is like, we had a day where lunch was going to be 20 minutes late and we were still working on an activity and he was like, no, lunch is right now. Don't like, we're supposed to go to lunch right now. I'm not working on this activity. I don't want to continue doing work. So finding ways to help with that at home. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And then the last question is, well, you kind of answered it, but what are some ways that we can work together to keep the expectations consistent between home and school? But I think you kind of answered that.
Um, knowing that the routines at home also seem to be pretty effective is pretty good to hear. Like the visuals and the advanced reminders, like those things seem to help a lot. So it's good to know that when you have also tried those at home, that those are pretty effective. I believe that continuing the consistency between the communication could just make our communication skills stronger. So
All right.
yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm. Um, as far as what I would ask you as his grandparents, what are some things that motivates Adrian at home? Like I can say at school, we sometimes whenever we feel like he's getting a little bit too like the circle time might be too long for him, we might offer him a fidget spinner, or we might say, "Hey, after this assessment is over, you can color in the coloring book." Like those are things that motivate him, things that he look forward to when the assignment is taking too long. Knowing that something that he prefers is up next seems to be a good motivation. So, what are some things at home that you feel like motivate him?
So the transition from mom to us has been a little bit hard for him. So we've been working on a sticker chart at home where throughout the week, if he gets so many stickers, say he gets 3 stickers out of the 5 days, at least he has the three. So we're looking at the more positive instead of the negative. He'll get a treat at the end of the week, maybe going
Mhm.
out to eat or maybe getting a toy or something like that.
Mhm. I'm also curious, does Adrian have an iPad at home? If
He
so,
does.
okay, so is there a screen time routine, or are there any like educational resources provided on the iPad for him?
Actually, yes, there are. So he does have a bilingual book. I believe it's the Leapfrog that he can read along with. And then he also has a time limit. So he has 2 hours total, 1 hour for his reading, so that he's doing both Spanish and English and working on
Mhm.
English more so. And then the other hour is for his free time, for him to do what he wants to do, especially you know how kids like their tablets.
Mhm. Good. And how does he communicate with friends and family at home?
It's just the three of us at home, grandpa, him, and
Mhm.
myself. So it's really not that hard to communicate. It's not as much of a distraction as it would be in school where he's around other people. So it's really not hard to communicate. We
Yeah.
do have pictures also around the walls, and then we also have them spelled out so that way it's easy for him to look at and also try to grasp the English speaking.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that like also like if it ever becomes a chance, like having him participate in community events, sports, and things such as that can also help build his social skills because he can find people that he can relate to. Practicing conversations in English and Spanish is also a pretty effective way to get him just more comfortable in communicating with all sorts of people that he comes across.
All right.
Yeah. But I think Adrian is a pretty good student to have in our classroom. We're really grateful to have him in our room. We're glad that were able to make it here and listen to all of our notes and everything. Is there any other questions that you might have?
No, that's everything. I really appreciate you all for meeting with me. Like I said, the transition has been a little hard, so this makes it easier knowing that we're communicating together.
Yeah.
Of course, thank you, Mrs. Rodriguez, for your time and meeting with us. We're a team for for Adrian to help him, be successful in every area of his education. We also want to encourage you guys if you have a special book at home that reminds him home, that reminds us of his culture in English and Spanish, please send them over. We will take care of them. We also want to encourage you if you have any time in your schedule and you would like to come and read to the class. You're more than welcome. We would love to hear your stories in Spanish and learn more about your background and where Adrian is coming from so we can understand him more and actually make him feel seen in the classroom. So if you have anything special at home that we can also integrate, and I know the teachers will be more than happy to integrate them in the routine and even, when they're planning for the lessons, please bring those over because we're here to help him be successful in every area.
I
Um,
sure will.
I know the teachers will be following you, doing a follow-up with you throughout the next weeks. So just be looking for that call. We're
All
here
right.
to help you if you need to stop by the school and talk to the teachers and you need some time with them, just let me know and we will schedule a time for someone to cover for them so they can step out and talk to you. And whatever you need, we're here to help you.
All right. Thank you.
Of course, thank you for
Yeah.
coming into the meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Of course.
Thank
We're gonna be doing a follow-up with her, and anything that you guys need as, teachers and the education team, we're here to also provide that time. Thank you, everybody.
thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a great day.
Thank you, you too. Bye, Mrs. Rodriguez. Bye, Miss Sophia.
Bye.
Bye, Mr. Tariq.
Bye, Nerlens.